So I seen this story yesterday and I thought it was really crazy, so I thought I'd make a video about it. Now it's from CTV. I'm not sure if any other outlets have posted articles or anything about it, but I seen it from CTV. I seen people talking about it, so I'm gonna make a video. And it's titled "Should Canadians Carry a Carbon Card Loaded with a year's worth of points?" Or as the article goes on to say, whenever you buy something and they would determine how much it contributes to climate change, quote unquote, and they would then charge you for it. And this is a pretty scary precedent, I think, because it's one step towards a social credit score, like in China, and you know how Trudeau says how much he likes China and how much they run their country basically, and it's something that they want to go towards. And this whole idea of a carbon card is, number one, it's kind of stupid because the the liberal government has said, well, a carbon tax is the best way to fight climate change, but yet they want to do something completely different all of a sudden. It doesn't really make sense, but it's for the obvious reason that they want to do as much as they can. They want to have as much power as they possibly can. And like I said, this is a very scary precedent because it's kind of like a social credit score. It's going one step towards that, and the problem with that is that it's extremely scary. And for all the people that think a social credit score is a good idea, well, imagine if you let Donald Trump be in power or in charge of that kind of thing, and he, you know, if you're an immigrant, you know, you lost points, or if you're anti-gun, you lose points, or whatever, you know, talking point that the left seems to hate about the right. So yeah, that's kind of a way of thinking about it. And back to the main point is that this is an extremely crazy and scary precedent because whenever these kind of things get rolled out, it's always sold as simple and easy and not completely over the top like they complain they say that it is. Like you know, it's always sold as, oh, it's just this small little thing, it's not really going to be an inconvenience, and you know, down the road eventually it's this massive thing. Like the carbon tax was sold as, you know, we're going to put a small tax on, it's not really going to cost you any more money out of your pocket. Now the amount they've put out is clearly costing people a lot of money out of their pocket, and the reports have clearly shown that the carbon tax has to go up another 3-4 times just for them to hit their targets, which their targets are reducing our emissions by an extremely small amount. So yeah, the summary of the story is this stuff's going to get a whole lot crazier before it gets less crazy unless people start talking about it. And the problem is that whenever you bring this kind of stuff up, people kind of scoff and laugh, and they think you're a kook because you're worried that the, you know, a totalitarian or draconian thing's going to be put in. But what they don't realize is that whenever this kind of stuff's done, it's almost always done incrementally. It's not usually done overnight. Usually the cases where it's done overnight are the ones where people really remember, but usually it's put in slowly but surely. And that's something that the story I heard about it, it's kind of unrelated, but it makes sense, is that when eBay first came out, they came out and they wanted to change the color of the symbol, and they changed it one day, just completely changed it, and they started to get like hate mail and people complaining like, what's this, and people were mad. And so what they did is that they put it back, and over a period of, I think it was a year or two, they put it, you know, less than, you know, 0.1% of a change until it was all the way, and then no one complained because it happens over a long period of time. Well, no one complained. So that's how they're gonna do this kind of stuff, is that off the start it's a small carbon tax, and it's a big carbon tax, and it's social credit score, you know, with a carbon tax, a carbon thing put in, is that, yeah, like that's how they're gonna do it. And the problem is that too high of the percent of the population isn't smart enough to recognize that kind of stuff. It's kind of a telling sign of intelligence, is that you can recognize and perceive threats, especially ones that are maybe not one in the here and now, but down the road. That's kind of one of the telltale signs of intelligence. And the problem is that the schools, the colleges don't teach you any of this kind of stuff. So it's really only the smart people that really pay attention to this kind of stuff that recognize it, and that's a very small percent of the population. But that's why I'm making these kind of videos. So the one thing I would say is go read the article, educate yourself on this kind of stuff. I don't want to talk too long, but like I say, this is a very scary precedent because it's one step towards basically something that would be going on in a communist country, i.e. China. So yeah, I mean, long story short, carrying the idea of carrying a carbon card and charging people based off how much they use is a very scary precedent, and I won't I can't even describe how scary of a precedent that is, to be honest, because it's a pretty bad precedent, and it's the classic slippery slope scenario, I guess, is the best way of putting it. So I'm gonna leave the video here. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.